Cheers.
What do you got to say, May?
Welcome back. My name is Abel.
I'm Mackenzie.
This is our very first episode of K&A TV. This is really just going to be our sit down and talk about kind of all things life. With, our announcement of our baby and us being and living together now. There's so many things that we're experiencing that are brand new. The first steps of marriage coming towards us and the first steps of being parents as well. So you're going to hear a lot of the behind the scenes, the day-to-day lives, just our thoughts behind how everything is going. But for our first episode, we kind of want to just talk about how we met. We're going to let it roll organically, go just kind of by ear, by hearsay, the way that things happen. But yeah, do you want to start with I guess I'll start because it really started with me building content and stuff like that.
It starts with you, actually.
Around, it was like 2021 is the year that my family and we moved from Northern Oregon back to Texas. We're originally from here, but it had been in the talks for a long time. Finally made our way over. And that first year that I was here, I had no idea what I was going to do with life. I had just come from working ministry, and if you hear our crazy cat in the background, you'll see her run around. But we're going to let her just be her. But in that first year, I had no idea what I was doing. I was going through a very revelatory point in my life where I was coming out of things that I didn't necessarily like about myself. And they were changing very rapidly. And so one of the things that I did with that is I never had a TikTok account. I just, it's still part of that time where it was like TikToks from China and crazy stuff like that.
It was still fairly new.
It was very new. Starting to take off is where I'd put it. And with its popularity, I was like, let me just download this app. I don't really know what's on it. I don't really know what to expect. And I didn't get all the trends and stuff that was going around. My life revolved around God. It revolved around faith. It revolved about changing mindsets. And I just started putting testimony out there. I started taking videos of the things that I was learning that were helping me in my life. And it was just my story. And I was putting it out there in a simple way for people to understand. And it took off, and it wasn't crazy. I gained a few thousand followers, and for me, never using TikTok a day in my life, I was like, dang, I think this is pretty good. And that's where it began. So I'm about a year in, and I'm cranking them out almost every single day at this point. It's just one thing I knew. I was headed to my job. I was working at Boot Barn at the time, and I was like, all right, I'm going to show up a little early, and I'm just going to go. I'll have something in mind. I think I had the idea written down of what I was going to talk about for the next 5 days. Here's an idea, but no script, no nothing. I was like, that's a good idea. And I would kind of feel it out in the day. Okay, do I feel this today? What would I say? And it would just pop up in my head. And the words would just flow. They would just go. I just loved knowing how it felt and being able to put it out there the simplest way possible, the simplest way that it made sense to me. And people were eating it. People were receiving it in a way that I really never thought it would take off. But it was reaching out to a lot of new believers, people that had been in that same place of, back and forth with their Christianity, back and forth with their faith. And it was speaking to those hearts where man, this guy is speaking a very real truth that I needed without realizing that I was the one that was needing it at the exact same time I was sharing it. And transparency is kind of the mantra for our channel together now. It's painted a way for our relationship together. It's really formed the bond that we have together as well as just transparency, being accountable to each other. And those words can go so deep in so many different ways, that we can get into later. But yeah, at this point, after it's been going a little bit, to reel it all back in, I started seeing Kenz's likes back and forth. And at the very beginning, I didn't really notice it, but at a certain point, I was starting to see her likes on every single video, and she was one of the first people to do it. And I liked noticing the people that were coming back all the time, just because I could tell whether someone was really receiving stuff based off of messages that they would send me, or if they were just trying to get my attention. And it was one of the most heartwarming things whenever somebody is actually coming to you seeking after Christ, and you were one of those people.
Yeah.
I'll let you take over. What did you say?
Yeah, so I, at this time, what is it, 2022 now?
2022.
Yeah, 2022.
Like last days of July 2022.
Yeah,
right after my birthday.
literally the end of July. And I was going through quite a time. I wasn't sure. I knew where I was living at the time. I didn't want to be there. I had just gotten out of a relationship that I thought was going to be long term. And so I was just kind of in a weird, funky headspace of, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. But I knew that I wanted to grow my relationship with Christ. But I didn't know what direction to go to. I wasn't raised in church. Yeah. I just kind of, throughout college, I kind of gained that knowledge on my own and kind of took it upon myself to start going to church and to start reading the Bible and just to kind of pray. I didn't even know how to pray at the time, really. I just knew that there was something calling me to grow my relationship with Christ. Didn't know how, but I knew I wanted to. And I think his videos came at the most perfect time, because, anyway, before I get there, reeling it back in, to scrolling on TikTok, because like he said, TikTok was kind of the up-and-coming thing at the time. So I remember just laying in bed one night, and I was scrolling, and I came across one of his videos, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. He's really young. He knows what he's talking about. Okay, so I liked it, A few scrolls later, I kid you not, like a few scrolls later, another video of his popped up, and I'm like, what in the world? I'm like, oh, okay. So I like it, and I didn't know how TikTok really worked in the sense. He knows a little bit more about the background of it, but like I did like his video. So I don't know if it was coincidence that I liked it, so it threw another one in my face, or if it was really just God working how he works in mysterious ways. But threw another video up, and I was like, wow. So I went and clicked on his profile, and from there on out, I followed him. I was not posting anything at the time. Like I had no videos, I don't think. And he followed me back, and I was like, I have literally no videos, but all right. And I guess that ties into him saying that he had seen me liking and had taken note of who came back.
I also thought she was kind of cute.
And yes, of course, in the back of my mind, I was thinking he was cute. But I will say the majority at first was like, he's so young, but he knows what he's talking about. And I thought that was so interesting to me because I knew in my walk, I wasn't exactly where I wanted to be, but I knew where I wanted to go. And I had seen someone that was showcasing that. And of course, social media isn't always what it is. Sometimes people are saying those things and giving their testimony and everything, but behind closed doors are completely different people. So that's something that I also was a little hesitant about. I was like, yeah, he's cute, but what is he really like in real life? Like, what's he like in person? Is this even a real person? I remember that being a thing because you never know who's behind the screen.
Especially with TikTok. You never know who's actually, real or just taking other people's posts and just putting them on their own page.
Exactly.
So you can never know.
Yeah, and he had quite a bit of followers. So I was like, who knows, but I'll follow him. He followed me back. I was like, wow. And then it was one video that really hit home for me. I think it was just one of those days I was really struggling with where I wanted to go. And, I was really struggling with just kind of a little bit of identity at the time because I had taken, a little bit of a hit with the breakup. But at that time, it was more of me moving on past that, but not knowing where I wanted with my relationship with Christ and where to go. And so I think what he was saying was like, wow. So I ended up messaging him, and I'll let you take the lead on this because he remembers it exactly to a T what I had said. And I get the gist of it, but I don't remember exactly. But I think it's really cool that he remembers it. Go ahead.
Well, I remember whenever it popped up, I was in the middle of work. So it was a work day. And of course, a couple hours would go by before a certain video or any video that I had just posted would just like take off. I'd get like a few views, and for whatever reason, hour 2 or hour 3 would hit, and then just boom, it just thousands of views. And I remember seeing your message very early in the day before those crazy amount of notifications would pop up. I saw your message, and I don't remember if it was a busy day or it was just like, I was like, oh my gosh, you texted me, so maybe I'm just going to wait a little bit.
Yeah, because it was not quick.
Yeah, I waited, and most of my responses were that way because there were so many people messaging me and asking questions or just saying, hey, what's up? But I knew, and I had seen her name, and I was like, that's one of the girls. And that's that girl. And I waited because it'll give you like the first couple sentences of what somebody's saying to at least read and be able to know what they're messaging about. And I remember the first few words was very important because she was asking for help. And in my mind, I'm like, I just post these videos. I'm not sure exactly how I'm supposed to help most of these people. I do my best. I believe in the Lord, and I know that the Lord's word is true. And so I went in there and I was like, okay, the joy of the Lord is my strength. And I was having kind of a crappy day, but I saw that message and it made me happy because it was somebody stepping out of their way to ask for help. And I struggle with that. We all struggle with asking for help. And so that motivated me to be like, okay, somebody took the step to message me, and that's the first step of courage, And so whenever I opened it up, it was her asking, hey, I'm in this place and I need help. I feel like I go to church, I read my Bible, I pray, but for whatever reason, I see you so happy in these videos, but I don't feel that same happiness. And I can tell your happiness is genuine. It's not just that fake church happiness. It's real. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And that made me, I was ecstatic after that question because I know that exact feeling. Going through the motions, and I'm the one that grew up in church, two completely different backgrounds. I grew up in church, and I remember not really just being a church kid. That's what I was. I wasn't committed to God. I hadn't really made that given choice, like, hey, I'm handing my life over to God, until very recent at this time being. I had just been baptized not a year before, right before I moved, maybe by like a month. And everything was about God. I mean, I was serving, I was doing everything at this church that I wasn't hired at now, moving from a bigger ministry to a smaller church. And so that fire was just genuine. It was very real, which was incredible. And so it made me happy to be able to be like, hey, this is what happened in my life, and I hope it helps yours. And I don't remember exactly what I said because it was a very long message. I gave you a very long message. And that was really the start. It was me just opening up and laying it down. I think I had... my response was a double. I know I had asked for your Snapchat. I said, hey, can I get your Snapchat or your phone number? Your phone number to... I'm going to send you a video. So I can
explain this better.
I can explain it better. And the thing is that was a very real comment. I really meant that because I'm so much better on video or in audio than I am typing stuff out. I hate texting. And anybody that knows me knows that because I will not respond for hours on hours and even days because I will not text back. I'm so bad about it. But if you call me, I'll keep you wrapped up for the longest time. I will just yap and yap and yap. And that's what I did. I sent you, I think, 2 or 3 minutes worth of videos of just
video after
like
video.
Word vomit. And the passion behind the way that I talked, I remember making these videos, the passion and the way that I spoke and the way that the words came out are what spoke to those people. It's just a talent that I've always had. I love people. I love talking to them. And social energy will definitely like time out. I definitely have those moments after doing it for so long and being around people and being the highlight. I'll burn out, of course, but whenever it comes to those things, I can't ever push them to the side. I'll complain all day about how my day went or what I'm going through, and then the moment that the opportunity arises, it's like a switch turns on, and I completely flip flop from having a bad day to just absolutely spewing whatever is inside of my spirit. And it's because the word, I had mentioned it earlier, the word of God is alive. Like it lives within us. In the beginning was the word, and the word was God, and God was the word. Like that is a powerful statement to know that the word is a living thing. It is God in itself. So me just speaking and the Bible becoming your language, it gives you life. Like even right now, like I could be completely honest with my walk has not been as tight knit as it was in previous years, but just allowing that to come out of my life, out of my mouth, is it speaks life. Like it gives me life, it gives you life, it gives this crazy girl life. But that's how it took off, and we went days, like weeks on end, just video back and forth. Now, I have to reiterate, it was definitely weeks on end because I was so bad about responding. It would be like
So bad.
Snapchat keeps a streak for you of how many days are consistent. Let's just say we didn't have one of those. Because I would get on Snap, I would word dump to you, and then maybe respond to the few people. I had just moved my whole life over here, and I was learning who in my last state that I lived in, who was my friend and who wasn't. So I wasn't talking to a whole lot of people other than the people at church. And because I was so active there and so active at work, I wouldn't respond. But then the moment I'd open it up, I'd be like, oh, yeah, perfect. I'm glad I waited till now because now I have the perfect response.
Yeah.
I'd learned something in between the time. It was wild how it worked. And it was specifically for you. Like in between the time that we would talk, I would learn the answer to the question without knowing the question that you were or you were countering with. And so I'd just be able to be like, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And the lessons that I was learning day in and day out would just have it. It was incredible. And that's how our relationship grew. Like what do you think you remember after that point in time? You know, consistent talk, consistent. Oh snap! Our first meet. I'll let you explain this because
it's funny how
it is very
out.
funny. It is very funny.
Yeah. So we would talk off and on. There was time periods where we would be talking more consistently. There's time periods where we would go weeks without even talking. And at that point, like, as much as I thought he was cute and everything, that wasn't the focus of me communicating with him. And so, I didn't really take it to heart because, you know, like any other time, like if I were talking to somebody, I was really interested in the conversation with them, and like we stopped talking and be like, well, why did we stop talking? Like, did I do something wrong? Or, you know, is this going south? Like, what happened here? Like, why are we not talking? But with you, it was never like that. I think I was in a time period of me being so busy as well.
It is very different. I'm just going to add this. It is very different. And I think we both learned this, what it means to be with a man of God versus a man of the world, because my focus was never the girl. Like, it really wasn't.
I would have, like, I literally had to question myself. Once I realized, I was like, oh, I think I kind of have feelings for this guy. Just a little bit, maybe. I don't know. It really made me go back and forth with myself on if that was the right move, if that's the right way to say it, because I was like, I don't know if he likes me or not. I don't know if this is just a friend vibe. I don't know if he's just intrigued by our conversation because I'm asking those types of questions. So once it got to that, and that was months later. Like I said, we had met and started talking very end of July.
Definitely around like 6 months. It had been about half a year.
Yeah, it was literally probably beginning in December before I was like, like thinking of it anything more than
Christmas time.
Yeah, what it was. So fast forward a little bit, we're talking more consistently at this point. I would say we're like almost daily at this point. After I think November was probably the month that we like talked the least. I don't think we talked really at all in November, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that was a busy month. I remember that.
Yeah, and so December came around, we started talking more consistently, and I'm like, at this point, we've been Snapchatting videos back and forth. We've talked on the phone. Like, I know that he's not fake. He's a real person. And so my guard was down a little bit, in the sense of like, I met you on TikTok kind of thing. And so come around Christmas time, I'm flying home. My family lived in Indiana, and so I was going home to see them. Whenever I flew, well, I was planning on flying back. I fly into Austin to go see one of my best friends. And right before, I was like, you know what? I'm going back to Austin, which is not too far of a drive from where we are in Dallas. Well, he was here at the time. I was not. I was almost 6 hours away at this point, which was not mentioned before.
She was on the complete opposite side of Texas.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
she says
crazy.
6. It is a 7-hour drive out there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It is a pretty far drive. So, meanwhile, we are not even close in distance. So, I flew into Austin. He's in Dallas. Those that know, those that don't know, that's about a 4-hour drive. So, it's way better than 7. So, I'm planning on flying back into Austin. And I'm like, you know what? I have a few days before I have to go back to work. With me being a teacher, we have, the 2-week break. And so, I was like, I have a few days before I have to go back to work. And I have the money. So, I might as well go to Dallas. So I introduced the concept to him. I was like, hey, I think I'm going to come see you or come meet you. Like, we've been talking for 6 months at this point and have not met in person once.
So the way she brought it up was, I really want to meet you. I really want to meet you.
I don't remember that.
A lot of times. Now, I was not opposed to it because I wanted to meet her too. But I remember that like the back of my hand.
I don't recall those events, but I'm not saying it's wrong. Because I did really want to meet you, so it's not necessarily wrong, but I don't remember it like that. But I'll get to a funny little story here in a minute about when we met. So I fly back into Austin. He's like, yeah, sure, like if you would like to, yeah. So I fly back into Austin. I make the drive up to Dallas, and this is... I'm embarrassed for myself now. Now we can laugh about it. But like thinking about it now, I'm like, why am I the way that I am? So he comes to the hotel because he's going to pick me up. We're going to go get something to eat. And he texts me. He's like, hey, I'm in the lobby. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, this is happening. Like, this is real. And we finally meet in person. And all I kept saying was what?
I can't believe you're here. Oh my gosh. You're here. We're meeting each other. I can't believe you're... Is this real? And alongside with the it's real, this girl would not let go.
Oh my gosh, yes. I kept hugging him.
She kept hugging me. And it was so funny because she was like half pacing, like back and forth.
Nervous.
And then to like kill the nerves, you would hug me.
Yeah.
And it was the most bizarre thing.
I'm a very touchy, affectionate person.
I'm the opposite. I'm Mr. Give me my space. I love affection and I love touch, but in a timely manner. Let me come back from my day and calm down, get into a right headspace. Let me get my thoughts organized, and then cuddle. And that's a normal thing now. So we've got our own routine. But then I was like, what in the world is happening?
Oh my gosh.
I was like, she won't, I didn't know what to do. I was so flabbergasted because everyone that I've been around or I've met previously knows someone or has been around me so much before an introduction just because they'd see me in passing or they heard about me through the line at the church. And they would know, like, yep, he's going to shake your hand. He's got a solid handshake. Some way, shape, or form, there was boundaries set. Most of the people I would hang out with would be like my teammates from soccer and all these people that already know, if you touch Abel, he's probably going to throw a fit. Yeah. And not in a bad way. It's just, I like my bubble. And here comes Ken's. Then I didn't know what to do. I was so shocked.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I loved it. It was like I was at home. I was like, okay, hi. Yeah. Embracing it and giving her hugs back, still in a manner of, what do I do? Like, I had never received so much. So I was like, hey.
Yeah.
And it took off from there. It was pretty cool. We did a little challenge. We had a previous discussion that we were going to do something beforehand because she likes Cane's and I'm not the biggest fan. I love their sauce. I can get on that I can get on that train all day long. But I cannot agree with their chicken. They have some of the worst chicken I've ever had in my life.
Okay, that's
And
pushing it.
No, definitely.
That's pushing
It's
it.
literally like they fried it in water and then they
What?
let it sit there for a hot minute.
Oh no,
It's
Cane's,
disgusting.
Please sponsor us.
Now, keep in mind, Cane's, if you want to throw some seasoning on that joker, oh, let me tell you, you will have a number one man be your spokesperson. I'll get up there and be like, I was converted.
Can you imagine?
I was against the faith and religion of Cane's chicken, but here I am receiving the goodness of this good Lord's chicken. But we ain't there yet.
Yeah.
We ain't there yet. So we did this challenge where I took her to, we got Lane's and Cane's chicken. If you don't know the history behind the two, look it up because I'm not going to get into it. But
Yeah.
But we went back and I had her close her eyes and try the different chickens with a different sauce and see if she could tell which one was which. The better chicken, Lane's, she guessed was Cane's.
I did.
And she got the sauces. I'll give her that. She knows
Oh
the
yeah,
sauces.
cane sauce, undefeated.
It's pretty like unmistakable. And the both of them can kind of taste somewhat similar, but one definitely has a very distinct taste, and that's Cane's. But she got the chicken wrong. Lane's got better chicken. Come on. Yeah. But I think we
will
both
say it's
agreed
very
that the sauce from Cane's is better. So it's like,
Yeah.
I wish we could have best of both worlds because they
know.
season their chicken at Lane's. And
Yeah.
now where my validity comes from is I'm a Texas kid and I lived with guys that are from the Carolinas. So like soul food.
Yeah.
And just this last year I was living with some people that are they're Cajun. So I mean, their cooking is just absolutely phenomenal. They they raise birds, they sell all the produce. Like their chicken was just definitely like the best I've ever had. But like that's my comparison is I have actually had some good chicken, and I know
I'll
a lot
give
of
it
people
to
say
him.
that, but yeah, I have a good background of behind what good produce should actually taste like. Very, very organic and real, but that's what I'm saying. Like all they got to do is throw a little seasoning on
Yeah,
it, and their
that's it.
texture is great.
Yeah.
But just the bland flavor, and every Cane's like person that loves it, I hear, will just be like, well, yeah, I wouldn't eat it without sauce. I'm like, see,
Yeah.
I'm right.
Okay.
But back to the night, it was so much fun.
And it felt so organic. Like
Yeah.
nothing felt forced. Our conversation didn't feel. It really felt like I'd known him forever.
Yeah.
Like at this point, yeah, we had been talking off and on for about 6 months, but it really felt like I had known him as a person for like years,
Yes,
literally
ma'am.
forever. And so
Perfect icebreaker for in
Yes.
person without having to go through the.
Yeah, like it never felt weird. Never.
Never,
Now
it never
I
felt
know I
weird.
was acting a little weird because I was so
Surprised.
excited, but it was genuinely because I was
But, yeah.
excited. I'm glad you could pick
She
that up
was.
because
I could
it
tell
was
you were
not me
very
trying to be
nervous.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, because after that, I never saw that again. It
Yeah,
was
no.
wild. Like that was a one-time experience that I get to experience with my wife now. Like
Yeah.
that
Oh
was
my
just
gosh.
between the two of us, which is incredible. That's
Yeah.
so cool,
That is crazy.
man. What a first day! That was so incredible.
Yeah, that was fun. So kind of going back and forth, I guess. But well, from there on out, again, I had lived 6, almost 7 hours away. And so every once in a while I'd make the drive down to come see him and just hang out for the weekend if I could. And we did the long distance thing for quite a while before I finally was like, you know what? And like I said, I'm a teacher, so it's not like I could just up and move in the middle of a school year. And like I was saying, I knew that I did not want to be where I was anymore. I just wasn't sure where to go. And so moving forward
Austin
a few
or
months,
Dallas.
Yeah, it was
Those were the two
Austin
you
or
were trying to pick
Dallas.
through.
I had a lot of reasons to come here to Dallas, not just him. So with the time being, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to Dallas. And, I could tell the rest of our story for like ever, but
We'll get into
that's
those
kind of how we
details.
met.
We
And
have
I
a
just think
lot.
it's so crazy, the timing of everything and just how God works in such an amazing way. Like he used both of us during a time where I needed you, and I feel like you could have used being able to express that your testimony and what helped you and what you did was able to help somebody else. So
Yeah,
And
it
I'm
helped a lot
speaking for
for
you.
a level of morale.
yeah,
Where it was like, I don't know how this is affecting people. With all the people that were
Mm-hmm.
messaging, there was so many mixed messages behind people that were at the end of the day, they just kind of wanted my attention or someone's attention, especially that, it's crazy how someone with more following or more attention on them can make them feel more seen. It's really weird, but there was a lot of people like that have so much hurt inside of them, and that's not what I needed around me. I needed like a genuine love for what and who God is, what faith is, and you were that person. It was pretty amazing. I never had any idea that it was going to grow into what we have now, and now we're being blessed with a child, which is incredible. And our walk hasn't ended. We've been through so many trials, so many ups and downs,
so many.
In the short amount of time that we've been together, like we have experienced a lifetime worth of stuff, and you'll hear it often that it feels like people will say, yeah, that makes it, or, all couples do. But I don't think that's the reality. I think there's a lot of couples that think that they've gone through some monumental things, but in reality, it's a lack of communication. It's a lack of them being able to express themselves. So internally, they go through a lot of stuff, but in life together, they don't actually experience those big things that are life changing. And I mean, everyone has their battles, but we've been through some very large stuff that is like defining moments. Right. And so we'll get into those. We'll get into those some other time. But thank you guys so much for listening to the both of us. Did you enjoy it?
It's so fun. I love listening to podcasts. So doing something podcast-y is great. I love it.
This is her element. I can talk, and hosting is definitely something I love to do as well. But listening to others, listening to perspectives, and also seeing the way that you light up. She did not want to do this, by the way.
No, I'm not really feeling the best today. With baby. Been having headaches and just growing pains, and just my body's just not feeling the greatest. But like, I feel like the moment we started this, I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, definitely feel like in my element here. So.
I loved that part. That made me really happy, because hate is such a strong word, but it's the strong word that I can use to describe this. I do not like seeing you in pain. It is one of the most ill factors of
does not like it.
Being a male. It freaks me out, and I have to and want to do everything. And so this makes me happy that I was able to bring a little bit of joy by pushing you into it. I'm the pushy one of the relationship.
But I need it.
Come on, like, let's go. And I thank you, Lord.
So we balance each other out so well. Because on the days where I'm feeling pushy, he's like, I don't want to. I'm like, come on, let's go do this or whatever. And he's like, all right. And then when we go to do it, he's like, oh, actually, I love doing this.
Yep.
And vice versa. So it's been, we really do balance each other out. And it's just,
She's also very good at reeling me in. There are times where I want to do a million things, and she'll just be like, come on, and I can do that for you too. And I love our dynamic that just works so perfectly. Learning, and it took us a while to get here.
Oh, yeah.
For all the couples out there,
it's not an overnight thing.
It isn't built block by block, brick by brick.
Yeah.
But
sometimes you got to take those bricks out and put a different brick in.
Yep. That's exactly it. There are things that need replacing.
It's not all just one brick after another. Sometimes you got to go back to look at your brick and make sure there's no cracks in it, or make sure there's no this is enough. I'm done.
Amen. It's okay. No, you were spitting. But amen. Seriously, amen to that. But thank you guys so much. We're going to wrap up. Thank you so much from the both of us for listening to our very first episode. We're going to continue doing it. Yeah. You'll see more of our content. We're really breaking a barrier here. We're so used to doing content for other things. Yeah. So doing it specifically for the two of us is going to be very weird on a schedule. But I think we're committed at this point. Allowing our feet to get wet this last weekend and for this episode was a really great breaker for the two of us. So we'll commit, and I mean, you guys are going to be with us through a lot for our first few months of being together as a couple. So I mean, we've been together for years, but I mean, like, married life is very different, and baby life is very different. So welcome aboard for anybody that are couples. Let us know. Let us know that you're here along with us with the joy on this journey. But thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you comment, like, and subscribe if you want to see our next episodes. We're going to try to do these probably every week.
Yeah.
a week or
I'll
2 weeks.
try to.
We haven't really decided yet, but you'll see all of our stuff in between. We'll, if you haven't already, make sure that you're checking in our description. Our TikTok is there, and our individual handles are there. Our TikTok, you'll see a lot more of our day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Those are the times where we're just kind of recording throughout the day. But thank you so much. We hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll talk to you next time.
See you next time.